scales and non-binary pals, it's DMG and welcome back to Blitz. And today I have a back to basics video for the map Falls Creek. Apparently you guys have really been enjoying these map guides, so I'm just going to keep going all the way down through the list whenever I need some content, and we'll see how it turns out. So today, like I said, it's going to be on Falls Creek. One other note is that I also turned down the audio on the intro to 25% of the original volume, so let me know if that sounds better for you. I know some people are saying, oh, the audio is too loud in the intro, so I have to turn it down and then I have to turn it up whenever you start speaking. So hopefully 25% compared to the 50% that I had it at, will fix this issue. Let me know in the comments. So Falls Creek. This is a map that revolves largely around flanking or just being able to overload one side. Now, how do you know where to go? Well, you have to look at team lineups first, and I will do a video on how to read team lineups after I finish all the maps. Excuse me. I'm still recovering from the flu, so if you hear me cough, I apologize in advance. But so on this side, you usually have your heavies here. You can go up here with tank destroyers in this location right here. You'll be able to put shots across. You can really only see that opposite bush though, so this is a very you can really only tunnel one point. It's good for tank destroyers that don't have a lot of gun arc, as they don't really need to look at other places. Of course, you have this area right here. Heavy tanks with good gun depression, T-34s, T-32s, stuff like that. Another good thing you can do, you can take like a Yag Tiger, or not even, you can take any heavy tank, right? Or even assault TDs and put them in this bush, right? And this will give you range here, here, and sometimes there if they get greedy and poke out really far. You can also take, like I said, with a Yag Tiger, put it all the way back here. You'll actually be hauled down like this right here. I don't know why this, because like, actually I do know why this works. It's because there's like this is a incline, so your lower plate will be covered, and you'll just barely be able to poke, just stay in scope, and fire with impunity, basically, in a Yag Tiger 88. Very heavily armored tank destroyers are very good, as they provide firepower. Now, something on supremacy that people either do is that you either wait for people to get into C, or you go into C yourself. Now, I prefer to wait and let everyone else show their cards first before I decide to go and rush a certain location. Because the thing is, if you drop into C, right, you'll get C, but then you're kind of stuck down here, right, unless you push, and then people could be sniping you from these locations out here, right? So you have to be very careful, and this is where reading a team lineup comes in handy, because if they have all heavies, let's say, or all heavies and tank destroyers, you can expect that people will not be here in time enough to snipe you. Now, capping C is important. If you get really stuck, you can go under this bridge here. If it becomes like an enormous, barroom brawl, right, just stay here, fire away. It's really good for like an IS-6, IS-3, stuff like that. This area doesn't require like enormous amounts of gun depression. I would say 7 or 8 was probably enough. You can get shots into here, put shots into there. You just have to be very careful. Since you're turning your turret, right, if there's enemies on both sides of you, they will be able to shoot you. So you have to be very aware about who's firing and when you can pop up and fire. Eventually, if you're in heavy tanks, right, and you're just doing a heavy rush on this side, you will need to eventually push through their spawn and kill whatever's over here, right? On this side, it's basically the same thing, right? You got your bush. You can side scrape off of this. You can actually poke your front over this. Having this bush here maintains your silhouette, which means that they aren't automatically seeing a red-gray hit skin, so it's very helpful. Another good spot for tank destroyers, this is where I usually like to take a Jagdpanzer E100, right around here. You can even take like T-34s here too. Since they have good gun depression, right? But if I can put a YAG right here, and this little incline covers my lower front plate, and I can back it up like this, I can easily get shots. You can really take any tank here, but it's most effective with really strong gun depression turret tanks or assault tank destroyers. Same as the opposite side, you can use this bush as well. Kind of dangerous. You know, once again, you're exposing your front. There's not a lot of places to side scrape. This is on the other side too with that house over there, but you can go in this area and look through here, try and get shots, poke through here, try and get shots. I mean, it works, but this isn't my favorite position, but I have used it before, so it is viable. Once again, you have your position up there, and this is just the heavy side. And sometimes what I like to do on heavy side is when I have like a quick heavy, like an IS-7, right? You go through here and actually push into C this way, because this way you're not gonna get shot, right? As compared to coming down, you know, through this ramp or that ramp kind of, and coming down into it where you're probably gonna see somebody and they're gonna try and shoot you. Going through this little area right here allows you to do so without taking as much fire. Of course, if they think the same thing as you, I mean, you're going to meet somebody and it's going to be a brawl immediately. So it's just making that judgment call and saying, do I think that somebody's going to meet me at C or on my way to C? You can also do this. I'm just going to show this off right now. Really fast tanks, right, can go up this little incline right here, and you can use this to your advantage. On this side, it doesn't, that one over there, that one is much harder to use. I don't know why. The terrain, it's just something, the way that Wargaming modeled it. Even with an engine boost, it can be quite difficult to get up there. Let's find out right now. Oh, well, I mean, LTTB is thin, right? So it can get up there, but you can use that for like really fast, skinny tanks. However, this one is not accessible to heavy tanks and medium tanks, whereas this one you can most likely get up here with any tank, right? It's wide enough, and it's not as steep, so you can easily make this climb and push into enemies there. It's really useful if enemies are camping there and you just need another angle to get at them and fire. So that's where I'd recommend that. Of course, on both sides in the spawn, if you need to protect it, these ridges are pretty good. I don't recommend going all the way out here normally. This can get kind of dicey. Like once you go past this bush right here, like this is the farthest I'd normally go right there. Once you go past that bush, things start getting kind of dicey if you get caught out by medium tanks that are flanking you. But let's get back into it. And really, that's only one side of it all. There's so much you can do with this map. So in the event that you see on their team they only have one heavy and your team has like 3, something that may be wise for you all to do is just rush the heavy side, right? If you can just get across and kill that heavy, you've won the C side. And you can take C pretty much for free. So you can X off a tank if he decides to stay, or you can at least shoot him in the butt a few times as he runs away with the mediums over here. Now, some other things that you can do is, I never use this bush, but I know some people do. They can go here. It's mirrored on the opposite side in that one, and you can spot people. I don't really like it all that much, but you can use it. That's really it for about middle spots right there. These bushes are also okay, but you only see a very short window, which is this, and it'll be really hard to get a shot unless they come forward. Not if they're just going to the A side, right? If they're just crossing, they're going to be covered by that bush, and then you're barely going to see them. And at that point, it's not worth trying to chance a shot hitting them. But now here's where things get interesting, right? This side for me is better because it has this bush right here. The other side doesn't have this bush. So this spot right here is really good. It allows you to put fire in here. People crossing there, so like right around here. People who are in A, you can poke on them and fire. again, you're not too far up either, so it's really easy to fall back and go around. There's also a small ridge right here, so this is like a great for like a T-54. You can easily put shots in everywhere. You can just work this little mound right here with this bush, and you'll usually find success. On the other side, it's still decent, but you don't have a bush, so you don't have access to that camouflage. However, you can always go to these standard spots up here. Keep in mind that you have to be driving a really fast tank to get up here before anybody sees you. But if you have control of this bush, you technically have control of the whole side, because you can see everything in this bush, you can see everything in this lane, you can see their bush, which, I mean, yes, there's a bush, but it's not as far forward, so it's the placement of it isn't as effective, right? Because if you're sitting back in this bush right here, you can only see their bush, and by that time you're chancing a blind fire or waiting for them to fire on one of your opponents, but not that, but one of your teammates. So that bush is, I mean, you can use it, but it's not giving you the same benefit as this bush. So, like, again, it's just working, knowing this area as you play this side more. It'll work. In the event that people go to the C side, right, and your heavies are just kind of holding them off, and your team splits, right, because this happens frequently on this map. Your team does split. I usually like just to post up on one of these buildings and fire across. This is a really easy way to get damage. It also kind of traps them, right, in the C, and they're going to be busy looking at you compared to the heavies, and they're caught in a crossfire. And even if they do try and push the heavies, which happens, right, the heavies will usually die, or your heavies will usually die, but at least you'll get a few crossing shots on them to put out some damage, so that you can at least whittle them away as you engage them in this kind of CA fight, rather than engaging them at C, right? Something that is important about Falls Creek is that when your team splits, you just have to know to get to a right spot to be able to farm them before they all push across the bridge, or kill everything on the C side quickly before they kill whatever's over on the A side, right? Just knowing your numbers, right, for how to read a lineup, right? And yeah, for some of you that may be a little difficult, so I will create a video on that after I do all the map guides. That's Falls Creek in a nutshell. I hope those spots were helpful. If you like that content, please hit that like button and subscribe. And if you didn't, please leave your constructive criticism in the comments. As always, I appreciate the opportunity to share my passion with you today, and I hope to see you next time.